Brofist, what is up? Welcome back to Unspecified Podcast and Review. So, real quick, Portland police move in. Brofist, we got some news to get into. Just a couple of articles, updates on the fire, some stuff happening in Portland, some of the same stuff happening in Portland, happening in Pakistan. We'll get into it. All right, real quick. Portland police move in before planned protest march begins. So, like a preemptive.
Yeah, and for me,
seize, shields, signs, make arrests.
right. But for me, the meat of this is this article really emphasizes that they came in and arrested people before anything ever happened. They came in before this march took place, which kind of narrates that they're, kind of a minority report feel. That they're making arrests before there's ever even a crime committed, when even witnesses that were there on the scene said police advised they were looking for one person in particular. So I think what's happening here is police are going after a targeted suspect who has already committed a crime.
And it knocks out two birds with one stone. We look for suspect, and also we ruin your protest.
Just happened to be...
because we're tired of your 3 or 4 months of chaos.
Right. And so they did see shields, which they stored for quote-unquote safekeeping. And it did delay the protests, but it did end up taking place, which rallied and marched down to the police union headquarters there in the area.
The new tactic clearly caught the protesters off guard, temporarily splintering the crowd and delaying, at least for a time, the planned march. They had planned to head to a nearby police union office. The Portland Police Association has been a frequent target of the protests, as well as graffiti attempts at more serious property damage, including fires. Yeah, that's par for the course.
Right.
For,
the timing
Portland
was golden, though, because they definitely came in right before that protest. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that this article is heavily biased and swayed, trying to make it seem like the police were, arresting people who hadn't
like
even done anything wrong yet? Yeah.
So do you guys think that this was a Minority Report going after people before they've done anything wrong, or was this a necessary, infusion of law and order?
And before they've done anything wrong is such a matter of perspective. It has been 4 months of this.
Yeah,
everybody knows what this is. So,
if you're familiar with the tactics in Portland, you understand why this is happening. I don't think this has anything to do with Minority Report, or I think that this is just it's about time.
But coincidentally, if you will, there's a similar article out of Pakistan, and we won't go into this too much, but interesting that they would choose such a similar
arrest opposition leader ahead of planned protests. Right.
And again, similar situation.
This was a great catch,
but just interesting that these narratives would be the same.
Right. They do that before protest. They do this before protest. What does one have to do with the other, or the price of tea in China? I have no idea. But moving on from that, an update on the fires in California?
Yes, unfortunately, the Zogg fire that we discussed yesterday has
so hold on, let's look at that. The Zogg fire. We just touched on this the other day when we were doing fire updates. And it has grown to
40,317 acres and 0% contained. Unfortunately, 3 people have perished in the fire so far. And as of 4:30 this morning, there are no evacuation orders near Redding. However, it's kind of a play it by ear scenario. But it started as a vegetation
prayers
fire,
for the West Coast and these fires.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some rather interesting tinfoil theories.
Really?
But we won't dabble into that right now. We'll get into that in a live show.
If you guys have been watching over the weekend in Louisville, we had, and this wasn't actually during the weekend. This was on the 28th. This was Monday. A motorist was attacked. This was an altercation between protesters and a motorist. 5 were arrested. 1 allegedly pointed a weapon at the motorist. But this was a few different headlines involving this little confrontation.
Okay, so this is Louisville.
Indeed.
5 arrests in Louisville after alleged assault on motorist. Goodness gracious almighty.
This was September the 28th.
What is it devolving into? And no one was shot or hurt.
No. There was reports of a weapon allegedly being
Brandished.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well, just a little update on what's going on in Louisville and Portland and other places. Yeah. So, what do you guys make of that? What do you think about it? What do you
yeah,
think about this Louisville thing first?
right. And considering all the news that happened this weekend,
What is this? I'm sorry to interrupt, but what is this in the what's going on? I mean, is this outside of a McDonald's just on a Monday night? I mean, what's
yeah,
this
it's
is
Louisville.
just okay. So it's just a street party then. Stopping every vehicle. I don't know, man. This just seems mighty odd. Wow.
Indeed.
So,
And then there was one other that kind of caught my eye. There was a 6-week operation.
6-week operation leads to 140 violent fugitive arrests in Valley.
Indeed.
This is in Phoenix.
This was Operation Snake Eyes, which ran from August 10th to September the 17th. 141 fugitive arrests. 51 were gang members. They confiscated 131 firearms, $145,000 in cash, and some fentanyl. And so I just thought that was interesting too, because here I am thinking, that all cops are just thinking about riots and protests. And nope, they're still business as usual on some ends of it. Of course there's different branches, but and so I just thought, wow, that's pretty impressive, taking down a major operation while simultaneously being rioted against.
My goodness gracious. Okay. Well, what do you guys think about that? Let us know in the comments below. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, ring that bell for notifications. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Be vocal. Let us know what you think, and we will be live here in a few hours to cover the presidential debates.
I'm so excited.
So please make sure that you stop on by for that, and we'll say what's up to you. So, all right, guys, until the next one, thank you so much for stopping by at Unspecified Podcast, and we'll see you on the next
Bye.